Hi, we're at poolcenter.com, and what we have here is a Polaris PB4 booster pump with a leaking shaft seal. Today we're going to learn how to replace the shaft seal on the pump. Now, we know it's leaking from the shaft seal because where the shaft of the motor goes into the back of the actual pump, water was dripping out, therefore leaving a puddle underneath the pump. So, since we saw the water coming where the shaft meets the back of the actual pump, we know it's the shaft seal. Step one, we're going to make sure, of course, that there's no power attached at all to the motor. Disconnect all electricity before even attempting to service any swimming pool pump or motor. Now, next step, we remove the bolts that hold the Polaris volute onto the seal plate and the actual bracket. Be careful not to lose your bolts. Put them all in one spot. Now that we've removed the bolts, we're going to take the volute off of the front of the pump. Be a little silicone there, don't worry about that. And then it's time to remove the impeller. This impeller unscrews to the left, but as you can see, the shaft of the motor will spin with it. So what we need to do is go to the back of the motor and secure the shaft. On the older models, there's a little plate that you have to pop off, and it'll come right off. So we put a wrench on the back of the shaft, put a pair of channel locks on the impeller, and gently turn to the left. That's going to allow you to unscrew the impeller and expose the shaft seal. The first half of the seal right here, the white ceramic, and the other half of the seal is embedded in the seal plate or the bracket. To make things easier, we're going to remove the bracket. Okay, we've removed all the screws. The bracket should lift right off over the shaft. Inspect the O-ring on the end of the shaft. That's an important part of the operation of this motor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the old seal. We'll take the bracket, turn it upside down, take a screwdriver, and gently tap the old shaft seal out. Pops right out. This goes in the trash. The front half of the seal is in the impeller on the Polaris. It's a very common problem that if the pump runs dry, the inside of the impeller becomes deformed. Inspect the inside of the impeller before you seat your new seal. Now, the white end goes into the impeller facing up. We're going to try not to touch the ceramic on these seals, so we got a rag. Keep them nice and clean. Second half of the seal goes right into the seal plate or the bracket. Now the easiest way to do this is we have a 1-inch coupling or an adapter. It goes right over the seal itself, and we tapped it into place. The seal is seated, tight, good to go. Now, we're done. Secure the bracket bolts. I like a little bit of magic lube on the end of each one of these bolts just in case this pump has to be serviced again. Okay. What we're going to do, we've secured the bracket back to the motor. We have the new seal on the bracket, the new seal in the impeller. We're going to screw the shaft. We're going to screw the impeller right back on the shaft. And again, we're going to grab the end of the shaft with an adjustable wrench. Now this impeller doesn't need to be tight. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it until it stops and just give another little push. That's all it needs. Now, the O-ring for the volute, we're going to put right back here where it belongs. We're going to take a little lubricant, run it right around the O-ring, again in case the pump has to be serviced again, plus it increases the life of the O-ring. Now we're going to put the volute back on the bracket and secure the nuts. That's how we replace the seal on a Polaris PB4 booster pump.